Sup Flare Squad, welcome back to my channel and to another explained video. Today I'll be breaking down the new BTS Universe Story official trailer. For those who would like to learn more about BTS's fictional storyline, check out BTS's storyline summary video that I made if you haven't yet. Reminder, this is a fictional story created by Big Hit. We start out with a scene of Seokjin smiling. We're not exactly sure why, but my theory is that he thought he finally saved all the boys. August 30th used to be the last date we would get from the entries, but we finally got a new entry for September 30, year 22. September 30, year 22 was when Namjoon's container neighborhood was under attack. Seokjin's father is leading the current construction to renovate an area. In order for the renovations to proceed, they would have to get rid of the container neighborhood and Hoseok's orphanage where he grew up at. These people destroying the properties and hurting people seem to be hired by the renovation company, because notice the matching outfits and the hat the attackers were wearing. In the most recent Notes to book, Seokjin noticed the marks on the black hats being the same marks he saw at the redevelopment meeting with Seokjin's father. Note that Taehyung's father is also one of the day laborers for the construction. You then see Seokjin looking at a list and it focuses on the painting behind him. This painting is called The Raft of Medusa, painted in 1819 by French romantic painter Theodore Géricault, I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, depicting the survivors of a shipwreck adrift and starving on a raft. In the June 4, year 22 notes, Seokjin described the painting as people who were abandoned, without anything to eat nor drink, without a compass nor any hope. People drinking each other's blood in thirst and hunger, hatred and fear, fear and desire, killing each other and dying while doing so. This painting matches up with the scene that's going on around Namjoon. People are hurting each other out of hatred, fear, and desire. Namjoon then turns around to see his reflection on the mirror. The symbolism of mirrors is the first step of individuation and self-awareness. The mirrors allow one to see oneself, even parts of oneself that are usually not seen. In other words, it makes one realize one's persona and the shadows, the unknown aspects of one's inner world in the unconscious. So they say to break a mirror in your dream suggests that you're breaking an old image of yourself, but also in some ways, this fracture can symbolize division between will and representation. The scene quickly flashes Seokjin trying to push Namjoon and notice the two different outfits, probably representing all the times Seokjin had tried to stop him. Namjoon then realizes that the young boy he's been taking care of was still inside the container home. Namjoon has been watching over this 8-year-old boy named Sung-woo Chang for months now. He first saw him around the month of April, year 22, and basically took him in. It then shows Seokjin in his father's office, flipping the page to show a list of names. Kim Namjoon, age 20, gas station, was highlighted, and notice it being by the number 7. So just to note, now here's more proof that the year for the dates in the notes is going by Seokjin and his age. If Namjoon is 20 years old for year 22, that connects to their real-time gap. So Namjoon is 2 years younger than Seokjin, confirming that year 22 is Seokjin's age, which is 22 years old. Also, during the Begins VCR, they did show us a year, 2013, and the notes for the same day was March 2, year 19, meaning Seokjin was 19 for the year 2013, making year 22, 2016. I'm assuming this list is of all the tenants living at the container neighborhood, but the fact that Namjoon's name is highlighted is alarming, and this could be that maybe Seokjin's father knows Namjoon, or that he knows Seokjin and him are friends. We go back to the scene with Namjoon and the boy was about to run out of the container when someone threw a lit bottle through the entrance. It shows Namjoon's face and focuses on his eyes, showing that He has now realized they're stuck inside and that the entrance is now covered with fire. As the scene pulls away from the burned container, you realize that the fire had already consumed everything. Seokjin enters the scene, showing that he was too late once again. He is currently in another loop. He had already saved the boys from their previous tragedies and they've all moved on to live their own lives. Little did he know Namjoon would pass away in this incident. In the notes to book the entry for Seokjin on April 11, year 22, he mentioned failing to save Namjoon again from the fire. As he walks away, the set changes, showcasing the game graphics but also representing time traveling. He's back on the beach with the cat where he originally made the deal. The date now shows May 22, year 22. This was when Seokjin thought he finally saved all the boys, and the day they all gathered by the ocean after so many years. But sadly, this was also the day the boys parted ways once again. At first, this was when Taehyung and Seokjin got into a fist fight. But then Seokjin changed it to where he left them before it ever happened. Note that, yes, this is the same day Jungkook got hit by the car as well, and we'll get into that later. Seokjin asks the cat how to save Namjoon, and the cat answers, "Find the map of the soul, then you'll be able to end all of this." Seokjin asked, "Map of the soul? What is that?" The cat replied, "Instead, there will be a cost." Currently, Seokjin thinks the map of the soul is an object or a thing like a book. They haven't revealed to us what it is yet, but my theory is that it's something that you could only find within yourself, since this concept is inspired by the book Jung's Map of the Soul. At the end of the Epiphany music video, the caption said, "At the end of the journey to find myself, the place I reached is, in fact, where I had already been. In the end, what I have to find is that which is the beginning of all things, the milestone, the map of the soul. The thing that everyone can have but not everyone is able to find. I'm set out to look for it from now on." I believe he needs to complete the process of individuation in order to find the self. The Inception-like scene comes in and shows the boys all together, but notice how it's without Seokjin. And these scenes were found in their previous music videos like I Need You, Run. Then the lights turn off, leaving Seokjin in darkness. An array of light appeared similar to Jungkook's scene in the Fake Love music video. There is an issue between Jungkook and Seokjin's character. The boys being in darkness could represent being left out, and Seokjin is hiding a very big secret about Jungkook. This scene with Jungkook during a party could also be representing the butterfly effect, which is caused by time travel. The butterfly effect is a phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a complex system can have a large effect somewhere else. So in one timeline, they might have been having this party, but due to the butterfly effect, this party never happened, and this scene was also shown in their Run music video. Note that the date July 24, year 22 was the date for Jungkook's hospital discharge party. They hit a yellow car into what looks like a bathtub, and I'm not sure what the yellow car means or represents, but the bathtub could represent Jimin and his character. So then the grass grows and it turns into a field. I did notice the blue flowers on the ground, but I'm not too sure if it's the Smeraldo flowers because it looks more like a blue daisy instead of the Smeraldo flowers we've been seeing pictures of. And yes, they have posted pictures of it. If you want to learn more about the Smeraldo flowers, I actually made a separate video on it and the link is in my description box. A door then appears, and as soon as he opens it, the horrific scene of Taehyung stabbing his father played out before him. For those who don't know the backstory to this was on May 20, year 22, when Taehyung came home to his drunk father beating up his sister. He ended up taking a beer bottle, breaking it, and then using it to stab his father. This led to him going to jail. Of course, Seokjin was able to figure out how to save Taehyung by getting Ho-seok to walk him home, and then setting it up to where Hoseok goes into the apartment and he was able to catch Taehyung before stabbing his father. Taehyung then appears as if he just woke up from having a nightmare. In this storyline, we know Taehyung has this ability to either see the past timeline or future events. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but I honestly believe that he sees past timelines. He thinks it's all a dream at the moment, but these things actually happened. But of course, Seokjin traveled back in time. When he looks out the window, I believe this could represent his dream. Carl Jung said, "Our dreams are like windows that allow us to look in or to listen in to that psychological process which is continually going on in our unconscious." You then see Hoseok with a dance crew warming up on stage. This is a backstory for Hoseok, but on July 4, year 22, Jimin and Hoseok's friend collided during dance practice. His friend got injured, so he carried her to the hospital in the rain. He ended up tripping slightly while carrying her, and in the process, he injured his ankle. His ankle ended up not healing very well, and it caused him to wear a cast. During the end of July year 22, Hoseok left the town Songju, where the rest of the boys were living, and toured with a performance team. He helped them load stage sets and equipment, and you'll notice him still wearing the cast with crutches on the side. Jungkook is still in high school. The rest of the boys have already graduated. The way Jungkook is cooling himself down makes it seem like it's hot because it's summer, and I'm not really familiar with how school works in South Korea, so just estimating, this scene could be around the same time as Hoseok's, which could be around July as well. We then see Namjoon put a book down on the table, and this book is called The Devil and the Good Lord, written by Jean-Paul Sartre. The first act follows Goet's transformation from vicious war criminal to a good person of noble deeds. As during a siege of the town of Worms, he decides not to massacre its citizen. So notice how the story is about good versus evil, similar to Damien. They used Damien as inspiration for their Wings album and Blood, Sweat and Tears music video, like the painting in the beginning of the music video called The Fall of the Rebel Angels, which is conflicts between good and evil. So there's a lot of references highlighting this subject as well, but these are just a few. Why do we see all these references about this conflict though? These are conflicts we see in the BTS universe. Each character is gradually understanding that human nature consists of both good and evil. They're constantly fighting an inner battle with themselves to make either a good choice or an evil choice. When Namjoon's scene zooms out, you realize that he's actually in a library, and this is the same library that was mentioned in the notes. He would work at the gas station at night and go to the library during the day. Then you see Jimin go into Yoongi's work studio, which we have seen in the highlight reel. He shows him a text on his phone, and Hoseok, Namjoon, and Jungkook also got the same text. Or that's what it makes it seem like it happened. Now, I'm assuming the text message was sent by Taehyung from this view that we got of someone sending it, and it transitions over to the animated version of Taehyung, so that's why I think it is him. But the message said, "Where are you guys right now? What are you doing?" For this next scene, I have a theory that Taehyung actually falls back asleep, and when he awakes, the scene of Seokjin on the platform by the ocean plays out before him, and this could be his dream of the past timeline. Seokjin looks troubled, and he slips a Polaroid of the boys on the truck by the ocean into Seokjin's pocket, but notice how there's only 6 of the boys in the photo. Taehyung tries to comfort him, but was rejected because at this point, Seokjin probably traveled back like 100 times, and his frustration is showing. The scene quickly changes to Jungkook getting hit by a truck. May 22, year 22. A camera seemed to have captured this incident, and the time was 22:15, which is 10:15 p.m. The truck drives off, and then you realize that this truck looks exactly like Seokjin's truck. Now, for the longest time, I've had this theory that Jungkook was hit by Seokjin on purpose. Now you're wondering why. I believe it's either to prevent him from continuing to jump off the building, or Jungkook somehow plays a role in Namjoon getting burned in a building. We don't exactly know why yet. So he hit him with the intent of injuring his legs and not to kill him. You then see the same white cat that was speaking to Seokjin, and in notes dated May 22, year 22 from the Tear album, Jungkook mentioned that someone spoke to him while he was slowly losing his consciousness. The voice said, "To live would be more painful than to die. Do you still want to live then?" I'm assuming the cat asked him this question. The scene switches to Seokjin approaching this closet. Now, this closet was originally found in their secret hideout, which was the storage in their school. There were clues showing that Seokjin's father attended the same school and probably used the same classroom as a hideout, which explains why they found this diary/notebook with the name Kim Chang-jun at the bottom. That's the name of Seokjin's father. This scene comes off magical because at first you don't see the words until he touches the pages, and then the letters start to fly around, transporting him back into his room. And the date, August 3, year 22, is shown on the bottom. A couple of things happened on this date, not to get you guys all confused, but just so you're aware, we did get notes from August 3, year 22, talking about how Seokjin was brought to the storage classroom. He had lost his memories, and the boys were trying to help him regain them back. Out of frustration, Taehyung and Seokjin got into a fight, knocking over a wall, revealing the cabinet that we just saw. And in there, they found the diary that was written by his father. We also got another note for the same day in the Map of the Soul 7 album, mentioning that the pictures that laid on the floor around him started moving. And it said, "Moments overlapped moments, and when videos compiled with videos, it seems like something that he didn't know was freed from his mind. The whole room sparkled with memories. How could he forget these memories? Then he noticed something shining in his pockets." Also note the shining thing or object in his pocket. The other members have actually seen shining objects as well. We don't know what this shiny thing is, but from the looks of this scene, the shining object could be this photo in his pocket. At first, the photo only shows 6 of the boys, but then as the scene switches, it shows that there are now 7 of them, similar to the ending of the Epiphany music video. So the shining object seemed to be related to discovering the map of the soul. His reason for all this was to save the boys, and in the process, he ended up losing himself. And if my theory is somewhat true, maybe at one point he tried to remove himself from the picture. Adding himself back is a step towards completing the self during the process of individuation to find the map of the soul. We know that Seokjin ends up losing his memories. We don't know how, we don't know why. I did create a theory video about this like a long time ago. I need to update it. But if you haven't seen that explanation yet and want to know what I thought of this whole thing and how Jin lost his memory, I will leave a link in my description box about Jin's secret. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't yet. So we're just gonna throw theories here and there, but either he traveled back in time too many times or lost himself, or the main theory of him removing himself from the boys' lives because he was the cause to a lot of those things that happened, the bad things that happened to the boys. Or this could be the cost that the cat was talking about. So yeah, we don't know yet. Feel free to let me know what your theories are to this actually, because I love reading your guys' theories. So you see the boys walk into the classroom together in their old high school uniforms. You see Jungkook sketching the accident. And then you notice the boys fading away like a memory. Now at first this confused me because it still showed Jungkook in school and it doesn't give us a date. But my first scenario is that this scene happened after he healed, maybe, and continues life. And maybe this is when he's drawing the incident because he still remembers what happened to him and it's bothering him. Or the second scenario is that he remembers past timelines like Taehyung. So, summary of what we just saw. We start off on September 30 when the container neighborhood was set on fire and Namjoon was caught in it and passed away. Seokjin traveled back, and we know this isn't his first time encountering this incident. We also know Seokjin's father plays a role in this incident and Namjoon's death. He travels back to May 22, but before fully going back, he asks the cat for help. Remember the cat mentioning that there will be a cost. So 2 theories. It could either be him having to intentionally injure Jungkook to prevent the situation with Namjoon, or him losing his memories, or even both. That could be the cost. He goes through all these scenes that don't have himself in it, and you can only see 6 of the boys, not all 7. This might be more proof to my theory of Seokjin erasing himself from the boys, or just, erasing his memories. Taehyung wakes up from his nightmare. He probably saw that whole scene of Namjoon burning in the container, because we did get that in the notes, like he had a dream of Namjoon burning, and he also had a dream of seeing Seokjin's face being basically blank and sinister. So after he woke up from this nightmare, he ends up texting everyone in the group chat. This led to them all gathering by the sea, but before it escalated to the fight that I previously mentioned with Seokjin and Taehyung, Seokjin decides to leave everyone, drive off on his own. He basically killed the party, but hey, he did it on purpose. And the boys ended up all heading home, and Jungkook was heading home by himself when a truck hits him. We get the scene with Seokjin and his father's notebook, but notice the date August 3. This is literally 3 months after the platform scene with Taehyung and the truck hitting Jungkook, so I'm not sure why Seokjin is still in the same outfit, but that could be a clue for later on. After Seokjin discovered how to read his father's diary, and after regaining his memories back, he's a step closer to discovering the map of the soul. The ending scene with Jungkook gives me this certain vibe though. So if Seokjin finally realized what the map of the soul was, he now has another challenge to face, and it's Jungkook's suspicions towards him. So that's all I have for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to click that like button and also join the Flare Squad by subscribing, you guys. Thanks for watching.